Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of our Satisfactory playthrough here in the Northern Forest. In the last episode, we were able to automate the basics in our iron components, a few biomass burners to make sure we have enough electricity. We were able to automate our beautiful concrete so we could build things in this episode. And of course, last but not least, our copper. Alright guys, so since we did all that in the last episode, this episode we're gonna try to work out some of the new components that we have to use and of course unlock our base building project. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, here we go. So we got all of our necessary components and let's launch the pod.
Milestone reached. You have unlocked several structures aimed to provide the first needed to build basic factory infrastructure and improved overview. Building these will provide a grid for more advanced organizing and sectioning of your factory.
So, what we have unlocked, besides the space elevator and our foundations, we finally have foundations that we could basically stand on. Right, our little ramps that could lead up to them, and some basic walls as well. 1 meter and 4 meter walls. We have the lookout tower. We could build it just like this, climb up on it. Now we can see above our factory. Wow, that's really going there, huh? Better. We could actually see what we're doing. The way I'm sampling these buildings, I'm clicking the middle mouse button when I'm facing the building, and it just selects the same exact building. So just in case if you want to build a couple of constructors, for example, just good useful hacks to know that make your building a lot easier. Just as a temporary design, I've gone for these 2 miners working together to have 2 of the smelters here, right, working each, just because we cannot handle 4 smelters just yet because of our pipeline issue with our belts. So as soon as we have the Mark II belts, we can easily expand with this manifold system where basically just overflows, right? So as soon as the iron hits the first one, the first smelter, it overflows. Then eventually most of the iron will go to the second smelter. Then eventually it'll go to the third and the fourth. It just takes time to start up, but that's not an issue here. We're not in a time crunch or anything like that, so we don't have to balance it out between each one and setting up one splitter that splits off into 2 splitters that each feed their own smelter. Instead, we're just slowly overflowing them and slowly building it up. Right over here we had a little bit of trouble because the smelter lines up with the splitter, but the splitter doesn't line up with the constructor. We can't really connect the two. It doesn't work as well. It just doesn't even want to start the connection. As you can see, it's red. So what we're gonna have to do is just space them out a little bit more, the smelters, so that way they line up with the fat constructors here. Just things to keep in mind as you're building your factory, so that way things even out. So what we're doing over here is we're gonna have that smelter produce 30 iron ingots that are gonna go directly into the constructor to make the iron plates, 1-to-1 ratio. And in here, the smelters are making 30 iron ingots, but they have to split up in half to make our iron rods. And then some of these iron rods are going to be making our nails, so they have to keep moving on forward, but these take each 15 iron ingots, so that way they have to get split up from one smelter into each one of these, and that way we could just build on this system. Don't forget, at each of the constructors you just have to set the recipe. So here we're going to be making iron rods, so 15 for 15. Same thing here, iron rods, perfect. And then right over here, iron rods and iron rods. And then these guys are just making iron plates, so that's nice and easy. It's no problem. Let's just make sure everything is connected. Well, there we go. So as you can see, these are not straight because I didn't line them up properly. So we're going to do that right now as well. Up next in our production line, we have covered our basics, right, with the iron plates, the iron rods here being made, and then from the iron rods we can make ourselves some screws. The cool thing with screws, and this is where math comes in, is that screws are made from, let's take a look, from iron rods, right? But the recipe for screws only takes 10. whereas the iron rods create 15 per minute. So what's really cool is that we can actually combine two of these guys. Get our merger. We're gonna combine these rods together. So 15 on each side. This is going to create 30. And then we're gonna split up that 30. So we're gonna have this here into 3 different constructors that are going to make our screws, and we're going to make them nice and evenly, and that way we're not wasting any resources. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to go like this, 1, 2, nice and sharp. Same thing, because if we connect it directly like this, it makes a nice straight path, but it's not as beautiful looking. So 1, 2, nice and sharp. The last thing we have to do here is set up some storage, and that should be pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead in our queue menu, we'll go to organization, storage container, right, and we're going to set one up, let's say a couple here. I feel like this is a good spot. So we're going to set one up for our screws, for our iron rods, and our iron plates. The way we're going to connect this up, let me see, that's not right in the middle. Let's put it right there. Okay, so all of these guys could combine into each other. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a merger. Perfect. Make sure the green line is facing this way, so that it comes this way. Okay, let's put it right there and right there. That matches up. Then we're going to get a merger for these guys as well, for our iron rods, merger for our iron plates. We're just going to get all that connected together. Actually, we can do something even better. Because we have conveyor lifts, we can actually lift everything up and do it up higher, so that way we have all this surface to run through instead of run into these pesky belts. So let me go ahead and do that. While I was doing it, I realized not everybody might know how to do this, but to create those same curves, you grab one of these conveyor lifts. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. Middle left button click, and then go ahead and line them up, and then move 4 meters. So you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go to the same height, 1, 2. So 1, 2. And then we're going to have turn around, and I clicked R to reverse, and then it creates a nice little 90-degree, and we can go straight in there. Perfect. So that's connected there. We're going to connect this here. That should align pretty perfectly. That's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I'm not going to complain about that. And this guy could just go straight in here because it's so close. Last thing was to connect everything to power. So let's grab that one right there and connect to one of these. And everything should be turning on. As you can see, some of these are green, some of these are yellow because they don't have the specific parts that they need. We can see the first parts go in and they'll start working. Yellow means they have power. Green means they have both power and the stuff that they need to start making whatever they're making. It looks like these constructors are not connected, so you just kind of troubleshoot as you go. Oh yeah, it looks like while I was moving them, I did not connect them to power. It's okay. Let's take a look. Yep, and they're working out. If I connected these belts, I would see the screws coming in. I haven't done that. So now we see our screws coming in. That's awesome. Fix-It would be proud. Now we can see our iron plates rolling in, and soon we'll see our iron rods. Or will we? Oh, this has no power. There we go. Next up, we gotta take care of our concrete. So let's go ahead and remove all of these. I want it to be on the same grid. So what I'm gonna do is gonna drag all these guys over here and then just match it up evenly so it's the same grid. That way when I make straight lines, it gets right in there. So now with a clean slate to work with, we could go ahead and put down the miner right back to where it was. I really like the way we went about it over there, so I'm probably going to do the same thing here. Just going to place it down like this. Going to go ahead and expand this a little bit. And go ahead and place down the constructors. Now our second part of the factory is all done. The concrete is looking beautiful. Slowly making its way all the way from up here. A nice beautiful straight line. I try to do this as nicely as possible, straight into another container of its own. And last but not least, we have to automate our copper and all the things that come with it. Worst thing in this game is in the beginning having to run around and find leaves right in the middle of building something very important, just so that we could power our factory until we get to the next level, which will be coal power. And that's gonna set us up pretty nicely to do what we need to do in the majority of the mid-game. There we go. As soon as I connected that, the power went out, so I had to add a few more biomass burners, get a bunch of leaves, make that into our wonderful biomass, which hopefully we'll have to use for longer. Made it a little bit neater, and we're gonna turn the power right back on. Don't forget to feed your biomass burners. With that, our copper is all done. So it gets fed straight into the smelters. They split off into halves to make the copper wires, and those copper wires get turned into regular wires over here. The next thing we have happening is our field research, so let's go ahead and get that done. We already have enough of all the items to send the lunch pod.
Milestone
Perfect.
reached. The molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, will allow R&D to provide new technologies, items, and buildings based on samples collected in the field. To ensure a greater chance of success during exploration, an upgraded tool belt has been provided, as well as an object scanner and beacons. Note: the object scanner requires calibration via the MAM to enable detection of specific objects.
Actually,
the map has been unlocked.
This just right now. And we finally have the map. If we click M, we could go ahead and take a look where we're at. Very nice. Some of the areas that we've explored, some of the areas that we've seen. It's very good. Let's go into the MAM. And this is where you kind of progress and get new things as well. There's a few different ways to research stuff. So obviously I have the hog remains, so we go ahead and do that. Very nice. Then I can do this as well. Not necessary, but just to turn them
New recipe
into
unlocked.
bioorganic properties. So we need 5 of those, so we just have to fight a few monsters. These are really useful, actually. The bacon agaric.
This is one of multiple edibles we have detected in your vicinity, which are within approved nutritional and medical categories as established by R&D. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
As we were going to fight the creatures, we have a power slug. So let's pick this guy up. You want to pick up all these slugs. Usually they're protected by some creatures. So let's take a
This
look.
semi-slug seems to emit unfamiliar energy readings which could potentially be retrofitted into Fix-It technology. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
Are you coming to me? A bit of camouflage there. Alright. And your buddy over here. Oh, he got me. The sulfur impure and a sulfur normal node here, which is good to have. Let's collect a little bit of that.
Data
So we could go
shows
ahead
this
and
as a mix
research
of
it.
sulfide and sulfate minerals. It could be an indication of recent volcanic activity. A new research tree exploring volatile self-defense applications can now be accessed in the MAM.
And another power slug. Nice. Sometimes it's just easier to build straight to them. Boop. Our glorious factory so far. Let's go ahead and research some things and research that right there. Here we could research the slug. Let's come over here. You can click on the power shard all the way at the bottom. I have an extra slug. So we're gonna make that right there. Let's go ahead and unlock overclocking, where you could set your machines to do a lot more than they're already doing. We have sulfur while we're here. Alright, so we have a bunch of these. Let's unlock some raw quartz.
This mineral shows purity levels akin to synthetic quartz manufactured on Earth and can be used to improve communication and exploration technologies. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
Oh no. Oh no. This is... I guess we gotta do this. Hello. There we go.
Picking
That's
up
the
multiple
artifact.
Fix-It pieces out in the area. Proceed with harvest before it's too late.
Let's pick this up.
Comply.
Your WIP stands for work in progress. So that Mercer sphere doesn't really do anything right now in the game. Oh, there's some sulfur as well. More quartz. Some more copper for when we need it. Pure node as well. Now look at this. Oh my goodness. Okay, these guys are very aggressive than I remember. Let's just try not to die everywhere. Wow. Very good. Nice, some quartz. There we go. Pure quartz. Very good. And there's a whole nother node right here too. Oh no no no. Another one of these guys. So right here there's a tiny little yellow power slug that we can get. Usually we'd have to break these stones with the TNT and stuff. That's a little bit later on in the game, but we can reach this one by hand. Go ahead and research these guys so we can turn all of them into organic data. Research this quartz right here. Some extra new products. Ooh, and even better, with quartz, eventually we can get blade runners. These are amazing. Let's get these.
Pocket dimension has been inflated.
So next up, what we have is tier 2. Let's go ahead and take a look. So part assembly, obstacle clearing. We can do that right now. Nice and easy. We have resources.
Milestone reached. Biofuel will ensure maximum efficiency of biomass burners. To aid in biofuel production, you are now capable of removing foliage that consists primarily of wood. Additionally, R&D inflated your pocket dimension.
So as our pod returns, I'm just grabbing all the biomass out of storage here and gonna turn it into solid biofuel. Actually, I'm not doing this. I'm setting something up for it just so that it could automate a little bit quicker. After all, this is satisfactory. There we go. And we'll need dump ground. Let's put those in there. Solid biofuel, that's what we want. We want it to be powered as well. There we go. And it should start making it in just a moment there. There we go. A little bit slow, but no worries. So let's chuck these in here and get the next milestone done.
The anti-waste effort for stress testing of materials on exoplanets bonus program. Funneling parts into the awesome resource sink, depending on their amount and complexity, will grant you coupons in the awesome store, which can be exchanged for bonus rewards. Examples of bonus content are parts, walls, factory attachments, and cosmetics. Fixit is working hard to develop additional options, which will be added to the awesome store in the future. Go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
So this is it. This is the store that she was talking about right now, where it kind of gives you all these extra things. This is free, so let's add it to the cart and buy it. And the way you get all these resources, you build an awesome sink. Alright, so we just need a few reinforced iron plates, and we'll do that. So now all we have to do is place one of these down. It needs power, so let's plop this over here. Power it up, and then whatever we sink into it through this hole, it's gonna go ahead and produce some coupons for us to use at the awesome shop. The next thing I want to check out really quickly before we end this episode is the equipment workshop right here. I'm gonna slap that down over here instead of there. Go ahead and make the chainsaw. So as long as we have fuel in our inventory, let's grab some fuel over here. Nice and convenient. Go ahead and grab the chainsaw, put it in one of our hand slots. Now we have two, and this is the chainsaw. So now we could chop trees down and bushes all together. So let's get this tree right here. Boom. And now that tree is in our inventory in the form of wooden leaves. Perfect. We have also unlocked the personal storage box, so this is just really easy storage on the go for little things like this. Leave it anywhere where you need it, and also if things don't fit in your storage as you destroy it, for example, it'll leave one of these boxes there. You can only take stuff out, you can't use them as a storage box, but this is nice and easy, makes it nice and clean for little things here and there. And here we go, there's the pod returning. So we could do the next milestone, which I'm really excited about, which is part assembly. This is going to give us the assembler, which is going to let us produce things like rotors, modular frames, and smart plating for the space elevator. Also a few other little things, like for example the reinforced iron plates that take two things to make one, which is really important. So we'll go ahead and let's select that. Perfect. And dump these resources in there.
Milestone reached. More complex assembly of parts can now be automated. Project assembly parts can now be constructed and sent up via the space elevator. Note: project parts are too complex to produce by hand.
So we're going to do that next time on the next episode. But it was really great making this new factory here. I'm loving the comeback to the Northern Forest. Haven't been here in a little while. Hope you guys are enjoying the episodes as well. And with that, thank you so very much for watching. Please go ahead, leave a like if you guys like my content. Go ahead and subscribe for more episodes. This is part 2 of our first playthrough, all the way through. We're trying to do the full progression before the last and 7th update for Satisfactory. Hope you guys really enjoyed. Leave a comment, tell me what you liked, what you didn't, what you would have done better, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time.